Hey boys and girls, Jim here once again, and I'm about to bring out to you a knife that I got at the New York Custom Knife Show from a company called Quest Custom Knives, owned by a gentleman named Greg Geckel. What you're looking at here is what he has dubbed the Gentleman's Spearpoint Flipper. This is version 3.0. Now you're looking at it going, Jim, this isn't a gentleman's folder. And no, it's not in that classical sense or that categorization. Generally, a gentleman's folder means it's going to be 3 inches or less on the blade. It's going to be, it's not going to have a pocket clip, and it's certainly not going to have this tactical style to it. However, what Greg wanted to do was introduce a knife into the world of the tactical flipper that falls very close to being a gentleman's folder, meaning it is a 3-inch blade, so it is a smaller size knife. It is very thin and very lightweight, but it is more practical because it is a frame lock. It is does have a pocket clip, but it isn't covered with jimping all over the place, and it's not a big, thick, giant, overbuilt folder, which is really what's so predominant in the tactical folder category today. What you're looking at here is a titanium frame lock, 6AL4V titanium, of course. You're looking at 140 thou thick, so it's very, very slim for this style of knife. The blade is a 3-inch CPM 154 blade, good quality steel. It's going to last you a good long time, and it's easy to maintain, and that's a pretty important thing. And he has gone 150 thousandths thick on that blade stock there. So while it's still substantial enough to be a workhorse kind of knife, it's not going to fall into that overbuilt category that we see so often. The close length is, let's see, 4.375 inches. That means to you, super compact, easy to carry, even if you're wearing, lightweight shorts in the summertime. And the open length is 7.5 inches. So you've still got a sizable enough handle that it doesn't feel tiny in your hand, but you don't have a knife that's obtrusive when you're trying to carry it in the pocket. He is running this on a bearing detent, so it's smooth, it's very fast. You see, again, there's your smoothness exhibition. Very, very fast. Interesting shape to that flipper tab. I'm not usually a fan of really large flipper tabs, and I think it really only looks really large because the rest of the knife is so small, but it doesn't matter how you engage it, it just flips really, really well. And here's the thing, it doesn't have a super strong detent. If I really focus on it to where I don't bring it out to full lock, you see it's got a very, very light detent. However, focus, it sucks it in nicely. So the detent is just about perfectly done. It's not a finger breaker, yet it is a very, very fast deployment. That's at least it's important to me. I'm assuming to most other people buying flippers, it's important to them as well. You're looking at titanium pivot screws, stainless steel, by the way, for the pivot itself, the shaft inside, as he calls it. So if you were to do any kind of customization or request any, obviously you can anodize the titanium frame, but you could also anodize the pivot as well. Now he's doing kind of an interesting finish on the frame. What you've got here is a nice matte bee-blasted finish with the satin flats. However, check this out. Now it is bee-blasted and stonewashed, so you have everything. And instead of just being satin flats, he's done almost like an eggshell finish, and it's very hard to pick up, and I'm hoping that my camera will do so. I've got to get the right lighting on it. And there you can see it really, really well right there. So it's not like everybody else's two-tone blasted knife. And I think that's kind of neat. And that is one of the things that kind of attracted me to it. That it's got the look of kind of an everyday workhorse knife, but it's got the additional little pizzazz, I guess, or pop to it that makes it stand out. And that really starts here with the blade grind. I love the top clip here, that top swedge, starting from about 2/3 of the way up in a dramatic taper down to the tip, and it actually draws the tip further down. Nice clean grinds on there, well executed. I like the fact that he brings the edge up a little bit wider, a little bit fatter up toward the tip. It's becoming very, very popular now. Not something that you need to do, but it certainly looks very cool. He's given you enough area back here that you didn't need a sharpening choil. You had this little choil here, which will certainly serve as that. So when you go to resharpen your blade, you can sharpen it all the way back to the very rear edge of that blade. You've got a thumb opening slot. You know, I haven't tried that yet. Oh yeah, it's a little tight. It's a little slender, but it actually does work as a thumb opening slot. Your jimping up here is really, really well done. And you guys know I am a fucking stickler on jimping. I don't want you to put jimping on a knife that isn't effective, because then it's just there for looks, and that's fucking stupid. But I also don't want you to make something that's just going to tear up the flesh either. It doesn't need to bite you. What it needs is when you push down into it that it won't let your thumb move anywhere. And this definitely does not. Take a look at how he's done that jimping. Nicely squared off edges, but they're not too sharp. Very easy to get a good purchase on. The overall frame finishing, nicely done. Very clean throughout. You've got a, looks like a black G10 small back spacer back there. And there is his G2 logo, because his initials are 2 G's, so that makes sense. And then we get to the pocket clip. A lot of people on my Instagram commented about the length of the pocket clip. And yeah, it's big. I'm not saying you need to overcompensate for anything. I don't know you that well. You might be packing heat for all I know. And that's great for you. Congratulations. But it is interesting to see a knife of this size where pretty much 80%, maybe a little more, of the lock side is the clip. And the first question people had was, well, does it make it hard to carry? Absolutely not. I was actually very pleasantly surprised, because I had my own concerns with how big that pocket clip was. The way that he has ramped this right down there, this is a fully milled and sculpted titanium clip. It enters into the pocket super easy, a lot easier than you would expect for a knife that has that much tension. And yeah, there is a lot of tension there. So it drops all the way into right there. So you only have this much sticking up out of your pocket. And it holds on super tight. This is a really tight clip. And the thing is, with tight clips, you sometimes run into the issue where it's either hard to get in or get out. This knife doesn't have any of those issues. I'm not even going to knock it for not having any lanyard attachment, because usually a knife this small with a clip that tight, I want something else to grab onto. Don't need it with this. I'm able to grab right here, either with the fat of my hand or here, and it just glides right out. It's amazing to me how well thought out that clip was. Now, I don't know if that could have been achieved, or if he could have gone shorter and still achieved that. I don't know. But I'm assuming with all of the experience that he has as a designer and as a machinist, that he has thought every part of this knife through. I really do like every part of this knife as I look at it. It's got a great overall flow to it. I love how deep he's milled these outer edges here to allow that center that he's doing the satin finish on to stand up so prominently. It's got a really nice three-dimensional topography to it. So you're going to go from satin to the bead-blasted step-down holes that are in there, steps down to the outer edge, which is also blasted. So it's an effective two-tone look without having to do a bunch of crazy colors. And there's nothing wrong with doing colors. If you wanted one of these done in blue and green or whatever the hell you wanted to do, that's your thing. But this is a great standard clean, all gray, all silver look that has a two-tone that allows you to see the depth of all the work that he's done. And I think that's a really great option. Take a look at that. Nice, clean Spearpoint design. He does also offer this in a Tanto design as well, and I played with both, and honestly, it was almost a coin toss as to which one I wanted to leave the table with. And for some reason, I ended up going for the Spearpoint, which is unlike me. Usually, I'm going to go for the Tanto, but there was something about this. Maybe it was because of the overall design of it. Maybe it was because of the size. I just liked the Spearpoint. I also like having that belly there to do a little bit of extra cutting. I've been doing a lot of paracord cutting lately for whatever reason, more so than I ever have before, and I find that to be really, really helpful to do that. And again, that jimping lets me put my finger right there, and it's not that paracord is such a chore to chop that I've got to worry about slippage, but it is a nice grip on there. Let's lay it down this way and let you get a good look at it from there. Let's talk a little bit about Greg for a second. He set a really good price on this at $400. Anybody else would be around $650 to $850 for a knife this size in these materials, machined with this much work and this much finish work. So I have to applaud him for his sensibility, I should say, in the pricing. But Greg is a longtime designer, machinist, and artist who's actually been doing this for 25 years, and he's worked in the medical field and, making, I'm not going to assume what he made, but, machinists that are working in the medical field generally are making, replacement hips and joints and things like that out of titanium. So that's the kind of stuff that he was doing. And he's worked in a few of these different industries and didn't feel quite as fulfilled as he wanted to. We've all been there, right? We've all had jobs at some point in our life where it may have been a good living and we may have kind of enjoyed it, but we didn't love it. And we kind of felt like there's got to be something else that is out there that will excite me and that I'll really enjoy waking up every morning to go do. So part of that went into, he wanted to make something that excited him, of course, but he wanted to make something that other people would enjoy instead of just use for work or for implants or anything else. One day his dad went to him. His dad is a hunter, and he says, hey, I want you to make me, you're a good machinist and you're able to do this kind of shit. I want you to make me a really cool knife to use for hunting. I want like my dream Skinner. So he did that, and he made that knife, and it just kind of dawned on him, and he went, you know what? I really love knives. I really enjoy doing this, and this is something that I feel other people are going to get a lot of enjoyment out of too. So he started off by making parts for other knife makers. So he kind of put himself out there as a service, as a manufacturer to make those individual components, and he loved seeing those things come to life. So he decided to combine his love for knives with the machining and do it on his own. He decided to reach out and do the smart thing and talk to some really well-respected knife makers. He made his way to shows and he talked to guys and found out kind of the secret sauce, the secret formula, if it were. And it's great because luckily most of the makers in the world today are really friendly guys who like to help others and don't hoard the secrets of their craft. So after conversations and critiques with guys like Lee Williams and Todd Begg, Craig took what he learned and applied these things in order to make a better knife and to continue revising each of his designs. Now, he has a few models available. This isn't the only model. And after a few evolutions, each have gotten better and better and better. And when you look at his website, and I'll put the website information down below in the caption or the description for this video, as well as his Instagram handle as well, you'll see he's actually got some really cool designs out there. He's got a Quaken style knife. He's got this and the Spearpoint and the Tanto. There's some cool stuff that he's doing. And I see him going forward and doing more. Because when you've got somebody like me who has gotten to be rather jaded over the years, and I walk around these knife shows and go table to table, and mentally, I mean, I'm not going to say anything because I'm not a dick, but mentally, as I'm fondling each of the knives, I'm critiquing it very, very quickly as to not, attract too much attention to what the hell I'm doing. But I'm going over that knife and I'm looking at a lot of different things, and there's a lot of knives that I'll put right back down and would not consider to put in my collection. And I'd actually had the great fortune of speaking with Greg right before the show began, a couple days before. And he's like, hey, come down and see me. Here's my table number. I'd love to show you what I'm doing. And when I finally got over to his table on Friday morning, it was about an hour before the show opened, I guess, I was really, really taken aback. Number one, because one of the designs sitting on his table was a design I recognized that for those of you that follow the knife community, whether it be on USN or on Instagram, you'll know what I'm talking about when you go to Quest website and you see that cute little butcher knife. You're going to go, oh, hell, I didn't know it was Greg that made that. Yes, it is. We know the designer, but we didn't know, or maybe I didn't know, maybe it was just me. I don't know, maybe I'm not paying enough fucking attention. But I didn't know Greg made it. I'm like, holy shit, I know that knife. That's so awesome. And then I started looking at all of his knives and went, you know what? They are simple. They're clean. They're well machined. They're well finished. They're very, very sharp. And they've got a pretty damn fantastic action on them. And then I saw the price. And then I started wondering, okay, is this guy just producing factory, production knives, or is he just designing them and maybe having them made in China? And it turns out, yeah, they're all custom, and they're all made here in the U.S. by Greg in his shop, period. And $400 just didn't add up. And that's one of the things that I've told Greg on the phone since we've each gotten back to our respective homes. I said, listen, the internet is a tough place for the custom knife world because, a lot of people don't get a chance to go to shows and handle knives and see how well built each individual maker's knives are. So they're having to rely on pictures, descriptions, maybe video reviews, and the pricing available on the internet. And when you see a knife like this, that again would be roughly $650 to $850 by pretty much anybody, and they see it for $400, red flags pop up. All right, what's wrong with this knife? What am I not seeing? Let me reread the description 2, 3, 4 more times. Well, no, it is titanium. It's not aluminum or steel. It's a good quality steel. It's not some kind of cheap Chinese steel. It's, nothing like that. It's using bearings. It's yada, yada, yada. What am I missing here? It's only $400, and then you don't want to take the chance on it. That's why I felt it was important that this came home with me and I sat down and did the review. And I apologize, it's taken me about a week longer than I expected. And I still have knives from that show I've not done a review on. Most importantly, my very good friend Pohan Liu. I've not done that video yet, and I feel bad about that. But I've kind of got a lot of stuff going on right now. So I wanted to make sure I sat down today because if you've ever come across his Instagram or his website and went, I don't know, man, $400, something's not adding up there, put one of these in your hand. I am telling you that this should not be $400. Period. End of discussion. Everything about this means it should command a higher price. The quality of the machining, the overall fit and finish is really, really well executed. Like I said, he talked to some of the best knife makers in the game today. Guys that haven't made a $400 knife in probably a half a lifetime ago. And he adopted all of the things that they said. And I can tell you right now, knowing Todd Begg and watching him critique someone else's knife in the past, I guarantee he said, you know what, melt all this, make all this nice and soft to the touch, round things out, don't have everything square. And I guarantee whatever design it was that Greg showed him, he went back and he started making things rounder. And he started chamfering the edges and softening the edges and checking his lock interface and all these wonderful things that I know Todd looks for, as I've heard him looking for, looking at other people's knives. Greg's a smart guy. He listened to the input that he was given. So what you're getting in your hands is him listening to people that know best, applying that to his own design, crafting it from some of the best materials that you're going to get your hands on, certainly for this price range, but certainly for a lot more, and you're paying shit for it. Now, I don't know what's going to happen in a year or 2 years or 3 years, But I can tell you this right now, you're not going to touch a knife like this for 400 bucks. People ask me all the time, where can I get a custom flipper for under 500 bucks? And I always scoff. I go, that doesn't happen. You're going to start at about $500 for a custom-made flipper. And here is an example of me being wrong. And I have no problem saying I'm wrong when I'm wrong. And guess what? I was wrong. Not because I was an idiot, but because I was ignorant to the fact that Greg existed and he made this knife. So I'm sure you could tell by the tone of my voice, I'm pretty excited about this. The main reason I'm excited, besides my own selfish reasons that I love the knife and it's been a lot of fun to carry, but the thing that I enjoy the most, and you'll notice this has been a pattern lately in my videos, is I'm bringing out to you right now a maker that does not have a substantial weight on his books. I have been critiqued for years for coming out here with dream knives from legacy makers that have closed books or 3, 4, 5-year waits, and people go, oh yeah, that's fucking great, dude, but I can't buy one. Here is a maker that I'm telling you is making a damn solid knife for a great price, and his weight right now, as of today, and it is the 16th of December 2016. His wait time is 1 month. 1 month. That's unheard of. Now, a week after this uploads, a month after this uploads, that shit's going out the window. But right now, you have a chance to get into something really great with no substantial weight. Now, I don't know if he is set up with dealers. Unfortunately, I completely forgot to ask. We started talking about machining and all kinds of different materials and lock interfaces and stuff like that, and I honestly completely blanked on it. You can always, run Google and see if there are any out there, but I don't know of any. But when you can order direct from the maker himself and only wait a month, that's pretty damn awesome. So that's the other part of why I'm so excited to sit down and make this video, because I get to share something pretty bitchin' with you, and you can get one yourself affordably and with a fair degree of immediacy. And that just doesn't happen very often on my channel. So, hooray! Anyway, I'm going to go. I want to make this a longer video. Unfortunately, I can't. I've been getting over a dozen deliveries a day as I am converting my pitiful little 2-car garage into a knife workshop. My benches are arriving in a couple of days. My drill press just arrived today. I got like 100 belts in, and I've got all these awesome tools and all this great shit as I'm starting to make my way into the craft as well. And I tell you, by getting into the other side of this, it really makes me appreciate all of the little details and all of the work and time. I always did. I always appreciated that. I understood that time was money, and I've always defended the knife makers, but I really get it now. I really understand every little process to do all the little details that are being done on these knives, and it makes me really love them more. It makes me want to share them more with the world. So you're definitely going to see more uploads from me. I'm going to be taking some time even in the shop, bring my little camera in here out to the shop and show you how I'm doing stuff too, just for the shit of it. So to Greg, I want to say thank you for bending my ear and messaging me and telling me to come by your table. If it wasn't for that, I may have passed by too late. These might have all been gone, and I never would have gotten the chance to see it. So thank you for reaching out, bro. I really appreciate it. And I've been enjoying the shit out of this knife. And I hope that you guys will as well when you get yours. If anybody out there already has one, please make a comment down below and let us know what you think. If there was one critique to make, and this is something he's already changed, when I got my knife, I talked to him about the way his lock bar is mating up to the blade, and that it's not the optimal way for it to lock up. It's not enough of a contact. So we went back and forth a little bit in text message and sent pictures and video and stuff back and forth. And as of 2 weeks ago, he's already made all of those changes. So the lock you're seeing on mine isn't even the current lock that you're going to get on the products he's making right now here today. So your lock's even better than mine. I don't have any issues, as you see. I mean, it doesn't stick or anything else. And there's no play. It works great, but I'm looking at it down the road. I'm looking at the longevity of it, and the better contact you have from the get-go, the more longevity you're going to have. So he took that advice and he made those changes. And so all of you guys that order one, you're all going to be getting something that's even a little better than mine. So that's pretty damn cool. All right, guys, with that, I'm out of here, and I'll catch you on the next video.